Alright, so I'm probably assuming you've heard of ChatGPT.
Yes, I have heard of ChatGPT, yes.
Well, did you know that ChatGPT is reinforced learning?
Yes, I did.
Well, for one, you already know more than one of my friends. Okay, so I'm assuming then you might know that reinforced learning is being used in game development.
Yes. I know that ChatGPT is connected with reinforced learning. I just don't exactly know what reinforced learning is.
Okay,
But yes,
good.
I have heard that it's being used in game development, yes.
Okay, that's kind of what this is about.
Okay.
Uh, so reinforced learning is. How do I describe reinforced learning now? It's one thing to write it out, now it's another thing to actually speak it out. Ah. So, you know what an algorithm in programming is, right?
To some degree, yes.
Okay, well, it's basically a set of instructions to complete a task. That's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
And a, a reinforced learning algorithm is an algorithm used to find the most optimal task to gain the most optimal reward in a given state.
Okay. Gotcha.
Do you know what a state is?
No. I'm guessing I mean I feel like I understood that through context, but not I don't know exactly like what a state is now. I'm guessing it's like
Alright, it can represent, like, literally the coordinates of the player, the coordinates of an enemy.
yeah, okay. Okay,
God knows
gotcha.
what else is in a game.
Yes, okay. Gotcha.
And I did a I did a study on this
Mm-hmm.
where I examined how different learning algorithms performed in games,
Yeah.
and I don't particularly think that they're ready to be used in game development.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, in order to take a look, I have to first
Okay, go ahead, yeah, for sure.
show you just how reinforced learning's current state, or
Mm-hmm.
what it's done in the past years.
Yes, okay.
So let me send you a picture,
Yes, okay.
uh,
Okay.
because this is kind of where things start to get really complicated. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll save the picture for a little bit. Let me first explain why this picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I studied a test that was done where they used the game Super Mario Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
an AI in Super Mario Brothers called an agent, to try
Yes.
and beat 1-1, 3-1, and 6-1. And they gave it something known as semantic segmented frames, which, let me show you what that kind of looks like.
Okay.
Because just describing this is really hard. Now I gotta find the
Okay, gotcha.
appropriate pictures. So let's take a screenshot from Ultrakill, for example. Let's take this screenshot. Come on. That screenshot.
Okay. Yeah.
That is what a normal frame would look like, and this is what a semantic segmented frame would look like.
Okay.
So basically, every color represents something,
Yeah, makes sense.
and they found out in the test that the AI with semantic segmented frames, or the
Mm-hmm.
reinforced learning algorithm with semantic segmented frames, could play levels better than the one without.
Okay, yeah.
to the
Makes
point where they
sense.
were able to beat levels and while the ones without the semantic segment the ones without the semantic segmented frames were not able to beat it. Any of the levels.
Okay. Okay.
And with that, I want to look at another game that I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Doom. Do I need to say anything else?
No, I know what Doom is.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows what Doom is at this point.
Real, bro, real.
But games like Doom and even Ultrakill, to be honest, produce a unique challenge that most reinforced learning algorithms don't have to deal with.
And that is?
Most reinforced learning algorithms have access to their full environment, while in games like Doom and Ultrakill, they don't, because they're stuck in a first-person view.
Okay.
So they aren't aware of what's around them, so they have to kind of learn that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, that
now
makes
time
sense.
to
Yeah.
get technical.
Okay.
Just let me know if I need to slow down.
No, no, no. Keep on going. I'm you explaining things perfectly well, man. You chill.
All right, this problem is able to be solved in a couple of ways, but I'm only going to list one because I only wrote down one.
Okay, okay.
Uh, a possible way for someone to solve this is simply feed a sequence of frames to something known as the deep Q network
Okay.
as a history, and I will explain what a deep Q network is, or to the best of my
Please do.
abilities.
Yes, please do. I have no idea what that is.
All right, let me pull up the screenshot I took because this definitely needs a screenshot. Please say I have a screenshot. I really don't want to pull up Paint and draw the screenshot out. Pictures. Come on. No, I don't have it, so I have to go get Paint.
Let's go. Paint time.
Microsoft Paint time.
Yes, sir.
Although I could do this in any text editing document, really. It's so blurry. It's just barely readable.
I'll make. I got it, bro. Don't worry. You. I believe. I believe.
Okay, now let me get the snipping tool out because I don't want to save this. Oh wait, I have to save this anyways. I just wasted like 15 seconds of our time.
Don't worry, brother. We still got a lot of more seconds in our lives for shit. You know, we're chilling.
There. Let me send the file now.
Mm-hmm.
That. I will break it down. That
Okay,
is
so
what.
cube in brackets SATT. I have
That
no idea what that is. Please do explain. Yes.
So, I don't know what the T stand for,
Okay.
but I do know what the Q, S, and A stands for.
Okay. Go
The
ahead.
Q is for the reward that is expected for a state it is in and the action it will take.
Okay.
And that's basically what it is.
Okay, so cute state in action
Yes.
is what you're saying? Okay. So the action it will take, or no,
So, like,
the
the action it
reward
would
it
take,
the
like, for instance, in the game, like, for Doom, would be moving left,
Mhm.
moving right, shooting.
Yeah, yeah. And then okay. And the reward is, I'm guessing, just the outcome, just written in a different way, right? Or am I tripping?
The reward is the optimal outcome,
Okay,
and I'll go more
I
into
got
that later.
you. Okay.
Because that actually is part of a problem with reinforced learning.
Mm-hmm.
So, heading out of Doom for a little bit, I want to talk about uh, some more of the advancements that have been made in reinforced learning in video games.
Okay.
You probably may know this since you already know that it's used in game development,
Mm-hmm.
but do you know what DeepMind is?
What was this?
DeepMind.
Deep Mind. I think I've heard of that before.
It was considered one of the first companies to implement reinforced learning into video games.
Okay.
And one of the articles I read states that DeepMind had trained AlphaStar, which is a reinforced learning algorithm, to play StarCraft 2, and it not only defeated a large number of top game players, reached a rank of master, but it also, and most importantly in my opinion, achieved a high victory rate against professional players. For,
Okay.
at the time, this was in 2019.
Okay.
And it's not all reinforced learning has done in that year either. Because that same author mentions that it's achieved tremendous success in Game of the Ancients. I mean, no, Defense of the Ancients. God, I
Yes.
am not on it today.
It's fine.
Defense of the Ancients 2, achieving a 0.994 victory rate and also defeating the World Championship. Or the World Champion team.
Yeah.
And that is some of reinforced learning's accomplishments. But I also did another study, or saw another study, I mean, where people are trying to see if reinforced learning could teach other algorithms how to play
Mm-hmm.
games.
Yeah.
And with the hope of eventually being able to teach humans. And in that article, they had used different methods to teach a reinforced learning agent to teach other reinforced learning agents a limited amount, but they only had like a limited amount of times they could teach. Like,
Okay.
kind of like a real teacher.
Yeah.
And the two games they did it on were StarCraft and Pac-Man, using
Okay.
basic scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And I will describe what those scenarios are. Pac-Man, it's literally just score the most points.
Yeah.
And in StarCraft, it's to have the algorithm kill a basic enemy using a single unit in the shortest amount of time. And the results of this were that they can benefit from advice, even if the teachers were not as great as other teachers. It would still go on to outperform the teacher. Does that make
Okay.
any sense of what I just said?
Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Okay. Because that is, and that is not just an advancement in reinforced learning in games. That's an advancement in general for reinforced learning.
Mm-hmm.
And now, kind of, here's where things go downhill.
Okay.
Because it does have downsides, as reinforced learning is technically still in development. And I don't think a single game I have played has reinforced learning yet.
Okay. And what's the downside?
One of the downsides is that reinforced learning has a huge performance and complexity on the computer. So other smaller game companies have no ability to apply.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
And they also state that it's difficult for the reinforced learning agent to train it with the intended approach. Like to train it the way it needs to be trained.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm saying that wrong. What I am trying to say is that sometimes the AI doesn't do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
And one of the examples I can give is in Doom. I saw another study where it could be they tested deep Q networks playing Doom
Mm-hmm.
in a basic scenario.
Yes.
And the study showed that at first it was really, really good at shooting the enemy to the point where it shot it almost immediately. But then got stuck in a state where it just shot the side of a wall repeatedly.
Okay.
And just kept doing that. Not shooting the enemy.
Yes.
So now I
And did
actually
you?
want to go back to the game Doom.
Okay.
This is probably the biggest section because of how much I'm in, and I will explain each of these. So this was a study where 4 reinforced learning algorithms played 3 scenarios in Doom. And those 4 reinforced learning algorithms are double deep Q networks, categorical double deep Q networks, direct future prediction, and reinforced. I will explain what those are as I go.
Yes. Okay.
Let me first explain what the first. Well, the first scenario is kind of self-explanatory. Defend the center, where you literally are put in the center of a room and have to defend it from enemies.
Okay.
But you can run out of ammo, and there is no real way to heal, so dying is a possibility. And they state that the double deep Q network is good at defend the center initially. It may encounter challenges in exploration because of the high complex dimensional space and potentially sparse rewards. Do you need a little bit more explaining on that?
I would love to know what double deep Q learning is.
Uh, Hold on. Let me actually pull up the article for this one because I didn't write this down. But yeah, I probably should explain this. Where the heck are my sources? Give me a second.
All good.
Alright, so a double deep Q network is an improvement on the deep Q network that I talked about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
where it where the a deep Q network has a problem of overestimating Q values, which is kind of what I showed you earlier. The
Yes.
where it repeatedly shoot at
Being
a
the wall.
wall
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
shot a wall,
Yes, yes.
and it fixes that and operates on another Q network. Meaning, instead of rather than having two copies of that network and synchronizing the copies for every predefined number of threads, to be honest, I have no idea what that means.
Okay.
I don't. I, I I only know the very basics of the somewhat basics of deep deep Q networks.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically the big thing is they they introduce another copy of they I mean not another copy, they update like the training weights for the network.
Yes.
All right, so I will move on to the next one, to the next
Yes.
scenario
Okay.
or next thing.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So what that basically meant is it's good at exploring its environment. However, I mean it's unreliable when exploring an environment. But in certain scenarios like this one, it is reliable due to limited exploration. And the next one is the C51 double deep Q network, or the categorical double deep Q network, which has the capability to model vagueness and fosters robust learning. However, introducing Q value distributions increase computational complexity and training demands. Or, in other words, it's good at viewing a vague imagery of the surroundings it's in, but because of
Mm-hmm.
that, it's overly complex and has a lot of training demands. I don't
Sounds
exactly
right.
know how
Yes.
this one works,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe it just works.
I mean, if people have done it before and it's been tested, and it definitely works. Yeah.
So let me move on to the second scenario, which is
Mm-hmm.
Deadly Corridor. This one might need a little bit of more explanation
Mm-hmm.
because what what they must do, the agents, which is what they're called, like when they're actually in the game, the algorithms are actually in
Mm-hmm.
the game,
Yeah. Yeah.
is it must get to like one of the pickupables, which is a vest, without dying while there are traps and enemies in the corridor.
Okay.
And that's kind of it. But one thing that I need to mention is how is direct future prediction, and I do know how this one kind of works. It it has what's known as model based and model it's what's known as model based and model free, which if I'm correct, model based means it's models a surrounding of the area, but model free is less demanding on the PC. So it helps the model free and model based advantages help in the deadly corridor with sparse rewards and the complexity. However, it's rarely
Advantageous.
yes, thank you.
No
For
worries.
for dealing with challenging scenarios. And that's some of the limitations of the deep future prediction or direct future prediction.
Okay.
And I will move on to the final scenario now, which was health gathering, where it's kind of self-explanatory. They gather health.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing I can mention is that they're on a poisonous floor where they constantly die.
Okay. Sounds about right.
And this is all coming from one source, by the way.
Okay, okay.
When it came to this health collecting, the reinforce, which is all capital, by the way, it's literally just called reinforce. The reinforce policy.
Yeah.
It adapts well to optimizing policies without heavily relying on value estimation, which is relying on like the values. However, carefully designing that exploration strategies and a learning rate adjustments is crucial, especially when exploring large and uncertain state spaces. And because it relies so much on value estimation, mostly on value estimation, it's only useful in situations where there is value estimation.
Okay. What would be a value estimation? Like, can you like clarify a little bit on that?
I think a value estimation is like, when should I go to get the health pack?
Okay, okay, okay.
And what are the benefits and downsides of regular AI algorithms? I wonder. Could it be the exact opposite of what I had just said earlier? That some of the benefits are that they're really simple compared to reinforced learning algorithms?
I would imagine so, yeah. I would guess so.
And their downside is that they don't really have adaptability to certain scenarios when changed, like when the environment is changed.
Yeah.
So they only work in their environment, and that is very obvious in some games. It's what I like to call the cheese method.
Yes. I've seen there's a guy on YouTube that does like videos like that, just coding like what's it called? Coding like AIs for like specific games, like I don't know, like Flappy Bird or Defend the Castle or something like that.
Yeah.
I definitely understand what you're talking about, yes.
So overall, I just want to conclude that they have come far in the gaming industry and have made many advancements recently, but aren't particularly ready to be or replace traditional AI.
So you're saying like traditional AI is still going to be more useful at the moment
At the
than the
moment, yes.
reinforced learning. Okay.